But first, the man who managed to turn a small maker of wire baskets called Wire and Plastic Products into this vast marketing, media and communications conglomerate with a stock market valuation of more than £20 billion. We're talking, of course, about Sir Martin Sorrell, the legendary head of WPP, which after 30 years since inception now owns some of the top names in marketing, advertising and public relations, including O&M, JWT and Burson Marsteller. Sir Martin was the keynote speaker at the 15th Exchange for Media Conclave in Mumbai last week, where he spoke about the many uses of technology in marketing, highlighting that theme of the conclave.
Sir Martin Sorrell, the head of media and advertising behemoth WPP, addressed a packed house at the 15th Exchange for Media Conclave held in Mumbai last week. The advertising whiz addressed a number of concerns, highlighting the need for transparency in operations, and spoke about his optimism about India's economic future as well as challenges faced by India and other BRIC nations where WPP has a presence.
India would be the shining light. And I think the Prime Minister understands the potential and the opportunity and obviously has communicated it in an extremely strong and effective way and is clearly a great communicator in the tradition of an Obama or a JFK or a Mrs. Thatcher or a Reagan or a Tony Blair, all of whom I think had tremendous communication skills. But India is certainly ticks the box as fast growth market. They're 31% of our business at the moment. We want them to be 40 to 45. It's natural that you're going to have fluctuations. That we saw that in Asia in 1997. We saw that in 2003, 4 in China. We're seeing it again in China. So it's nothing in life goes up in a straight line. There's always a cyclical, but there is a secular trend that favors the BRICS and the next 11. That's why we're tying WPP's future to the BRICS and the next 11, to Asia, to Latin America, to Africa, the Middle East and Central and Eastern Europe.
Sir Martin Sorrell also discussed some pertinent issues for the media today, such as the growth and penetration of digital media, how this affects traditional media like print and TV, and the need for managing talent effectively as part of his address. And after that, Mini Menon caught up with him to get a better picture of WPP's India strategy and how it's viewing the opportunity here.
Well, we see growth. I mean, it is the last brick standing, or the last brick in the wall, I guess is the right analogy. So India continues to be double-digit growth for us, which is pretty spectacular when you think that the rest of the company is just, or the worldwide average is just over 3% for net sales. So we see strong growth. We'll be just in revenues, we'll just be under 600 million this year. But not as big as China. Same number of people roughly, but China is 1.66 billion and is our third largest market. So what do I see when I see India? I see growth. I see really good people. I see strong creativity, development of a strong digital business. We're probably about 15 to 20% of our business is in digital, against an Indian average of 8% worldwide. We're 40%, close to 40% against a worldwide average of about 20%. So India ticks all the boxes, fast growth market,
sure,
digital, data. We have a very strong data business here. We've merged our TAM business with BRIC and to create the new measurement tool, or more effective measurement tool for online and offline here in India. And last but not least, we're increasingly, probably this is the area where I'd like to see most improvement, getting our companies to horizontality is what we call it, to work closely together. But one of the announcements is in the activation area, geometry, Compass coming together with our activation businesses. So that's a good example of horizontality at work as well.
The other two pieces that you're looking at is really investing in education,
yes,
in a mass communication program, and also launching your CSR,
yes,
work
initiative,
and initiative. How big is that going to be, and why the focus on education?
Well, it's not big in the context. I mean, it's prescribed because the government has said, companies of a certain size must coordinate their CSR effort or make a CSR effort and coordinate it. So we're going to do in the area of disadvantaged youth and kids, which is an area we think of private, and we're pulling a large number of our businesses, not all of them yet, but most of our businesses in India will cooperate in that initiative in terms of kids and youth, in terms of employment and the like. So that's one area. The second is in education and training. And when we saw Prime Minister Modi in New York, a group of media people organized by Rupert and James Murdoch, one thing he did say to us was that he thought the media industry should be proactive in developing universities, was the phrase that he used. Well, we've got here, as close to a university as you can get with the ISDI WPP initiative, and we've got a program up and running already with one of the leading schools here in India, effectively a university in communications. We'll have 60 students, I think the first tranche is. It mirrors, to be frank, a similar initiative that we have in China, where we're now, after 3 or 4 years, we're now up to 150, 160 students a year. We'll do the same here in India.
That will be the question. Are they upping advertising spends, or are they getting a little careful and they're continuing to be a little careful?
Well, I think clients, the biggest problem that we have is that clients are cautious. I'm talking about worldwide. Now, in India, given the fact that it's continuing to expand, I would say we continue to be very bullish about India, and we would expect India to be, if not the best performing BRIC as it is now, certainly amongst the top performing BRICs. So my view on India has been, India is under-branded and under-advertised. I mean, the reason that we have well over 40% of the market, maybe I shouldn't say that, but well over 40% of the market, almost half of the market. And we've been here for a very long period of time, so we have revenues of 600 million and 15,000 people. In China, we have 15% of the market, is 1.65 billion. What does that tell you? It tells you that India is under-branded and under-advertised. What is amazing is a country that watches so much television, reads so many newspapers and magazines, we still haven't managed to take advertising and marketing to the heights that it should have. That's just a question of time. Just like Indian dominance is only a question of time, in my view, my humble view. Defining advertising and marketing in a very broad sense, not just the classic stuff, but the technologically driven stuff. So it's about technology, it's about data, it's about content. That whole development that we see worldwide, is really accelerating in India faster actually than many other places because of the growth of the smartphone. So the definition of creativity is a very much broader one than we've ever seen, and that's actually quite difficult to shake amongst the traditionalists in the advertising business, but it's being shaken up at the moment, and it will change.
So if this is a disruption, how is WPP planning around it? I know you've got a big focus on digital. How big is that pie going to be for India?
Well, it's currently, as I say, about 15 to 20% in India. Worldwide, it's 40%. Because of the growth of mobile, because of the growth of the smartphone, India's leapfrogged the sort of PC, effectively. It's just gone from traditional, really, to mobility and smartphone and individual personalized communication. It's going to be very fast here. That's why the geographical bucket is easy to figure out. If Iran becomes palatable, if sanctions are lifted, fine. Cuba has become. We've seen it with Myanmar. We've seen it historically with Vietnam. That's easy to figure out. Maybe not North Korea, but you can figure that out. Technology is far more difficult to figure out. I mean, the changes
are so rapid.
and the speed of the change,
Fair enough.
very, very difficult.